We're using the TaxAct software and trying to get the overtime tax deduction. Let's do it. So you're definitely going to need a copy of your W-2, and if there is something in box 14 that shows that there is overtime premium paid here, then you won't need the pay stub. But if you don't have anything in box 14 of your W-2, then you will need the last pay stub of 25 in order to make the calculation to get this overtime tax deduction. All right, so we're in the TaxAct software here, and we need to start by entering in our W-2. So I'm just going to drag and drop, upload my W-2 into TaxAct, see what happens here. Whoops, maybe we can click the box here. All right, then we're just going to, kind of review the information, make sure it all kind of went in there. You want to double check what came into the software and what is actually on your W-2. Okay, I'm just going to kind of click through this quickly here. You'll see it did upload something from the box 14. And if we take a look at the actual W-2 itself, you'll see that I did kind of just like edit, put this stuff in here. This is essentially for this overtime deduction, qualified OT overtime. Premium is PRE, and then One Big Beautiful Bill Act. It's maybe something like this in your, box 14 if you did get anything in box 14 of your W-2. Okay, it doesn't really matter what you put there though, as that's not where we put the deduction. Hang tight here, and we will get there. All right, so I guess review again here, and look at this. We want to make sure, right, if there's anything in box 14, you do check this box. Obviously, if there's nothing, you don't need to. It doesn't really matter, even if you do or don't. I'm going to show you in a minute kind of why, okay? So I'm just going to leave this unchecked just in case you don't. But if you do, again, I'll show you in a second here kind of what this is. Just going to fill this out. Doesn't really matter. Continue. All right, here we are. Did you receive overtime pay, right? Obviously, if you did or you're at this video, obviously check yes, right? Do you know the amount, or is it reported in box 14? See, you didn't even have to check that box earlier, and you can come here and just say yes, right? If you have this is it. You enter this in, and we're done, right? I would just type in that 8836, and that's it. Keep on, keep it on. Let's get that refund, right? And you'll see this refund kind of change right as I put this in, and I'll hit continue, right? Look at that. Come on. Boom. Changed. Did it change by $8,000? No. Why? Because this is a deduction. This is not a credit. Deduction means you reduce the amount of taxable income. So essentially what you have to do in order to figure how much your deduction is worth is you just multiply the deduction amount by your tax rate, right? In this instance, it's 22%. So 22% of that is about like $2,000, and that's why it changed. Nonetheless, let's take a look at if you don't have it on the box 14, or we don't know what this is, okay? You can check this no, and you can go through this calculation. I didn't understand how it did this calculation, so I did not use this. What I did, because I understand how this thing should work, is I made a spreadsheet, okay? So what you'll need to do first is you'll need to get out your last pay stub of the year, right? And then on the pay stub, we're going to locate, like on the screen here, overtime that you got paid, and any double time, right, that you got paid as well, right? And you'll see here, overtime is paid at time and a half. $30 an hour is regular pay, time and a half is another $15 on top of that, and there you go, time and a half, boom. So we're going to get that $26K figure, and we're going to do a little math. So you do 26K, you divide it by the 3 in order to get that 0.5, which is what is deductible, right? 0.5 of the 1.5 is deductible. To get the deductible amount, right? The qualified overtime amount is what that is. Now, on the double pay, you actually divide it by 4. Why? The IRS only allows us to deduct that 0.5 that is over the regular pay. And that's why we are dividing it by 4. You would think, hey, I get to deduct everything over regular pay. No, that's not exactly how it works. Okay, so that's why we are doing this. We get those two amounts, and then we add those together to get the total deductible amount. And then we could just use that, essentially, and put it in as if it were reported on our box 14, is what I would do. Okay, and again, you'll see kind of that refund amount, right? It's going to go from $14,000 down to, what, $12,000, right? Something like that is what happened previously. Wait, what happened? Come on, let me see that. Yes, continue. Oh, sorry. It was from 14,000 as a refund. Previously, it was 12,000. So if I hit 0 here, right, you'll see the change happen, right? 12,000 of a refund. So it went down. And you'll see, back to my spreadsheet, I'll kind of explain kind of how this happened, right? Is that, let's say we're in this 22% tax bracket. This is our deduction. What is 22% of our deductible amount of the premium overtime deduction here, right? That's what I'm trying to say. There we are. It's that $1,900, and you'll see the difference between, like on TaxAct, right? The refund before, refund after. What's the total amount? There you go. They just round up that penny is what's happening here. Okay, so that's how we explain that. Other common questions I get is maybe you got an amount in box 14, but you look at your last pay stub and the amounts are differing. Maybe you have more in overtime in your last pay stub than you have actually on your box 14 of W-2. And generally the reason for this is because sometimes, you get paid for working like weekends or holidays when those, and you'll get overtime pay for those, right? But those are not weeks where you actually worked over the 40-hour work week. And that's the reason there are differences here, is because the deduction only qualifies for hours worked over the 40 hours in that work week, not for overtime that was paid kind of just because it was like the deal between you and your employer or labor union, whatever it may be. Well, I hope the video was helpful for you. If it was, like, share, subscribe. If you have any questions on how to get this done, I'm here to help you out. Make sure you do get this addressed. I know sometimes I kind of go over this a little quickly, but I'm here to help you out. Leave a comment in the comment section with your question, and I'll do my best to respond as timely as possible. Thank you so much, guys.